Hi. What if building a city isn't just about the economy and the numbers, but about creating a real work of art? Over the past few years, city-building games have moved far beyond simple grids and spreadsheets. Today, they're living, breathing worlds. Every house, every road, every park is part of one huge, dynamic picture, and you're the one creating it. In this video, we're looking at the most beautiful city-building games, titles that impress not only with their gameplay, but with their visual style too. The kind of games where you want to pause, zoom in, and just enjoy the view. Let's start with Flotsam. Flotsam hooks you instantly with its look. The ocean has turned into an endless field of debris, and your city literally lives on the water. The visuals shine in the details. Homes made from rusty sheets and wooden planks feel handmade, and the whole design is surprisingly cozy. The real beauty comes from the process. You don't mine resources, you fish them out, sort them, recycle them, and turn them into neighborhoods, workshops, and farms. And your city keeps moving through the world like a roaming settlement, just floating. But it's not only a city builder. Later on, it starts to feel more like an adventure. Exploring ruins, searching for rare finds, and developing specializations turns this beautiful sandbox into a more focused journey where your floating city has a real goal. Memoriapolis. This isn't just a city builder, it's a living diorama where your city grows through different eras. You're watching history from above like a museum display, except instead of static models, it's a dynamic world that keeps evolving. The magic is in how time changes everything. Ancient buildings give way to medieval districts, then Renaissance, Enlightenment, and industrial era architecture. The city doesn't simply upgrade, it layers on top of itself, leaving visible traces of the past. It looks like something that was truly built over centuries. And unlike classic city builders, there's less micromanagement and less hands-on road work. The focus is on big strategic choices, what to develop, what your economy should rely on, and what symbols of the era will push your city into the next stage. Fabledom leans fully into a fairy tale look. Soft colors, cute little houses with towers, green hills, and friendly characters make it feel like a children's storybook brought to life. It's the kind of kingdom you just want to stare at. The biggest charm is the vibe. It's genuinely relaxing to watch a small settlement slowly turn into a cozy kingdom. New buildings appear, streets get prettier, people fill the squares, and the world starts to feel warm and alive. Mechanically, it's a friendly and accessible city builder. The economy is easy to understand, progression feels smooth, and there's diplomacy too, relationships with neighboring kingdoms, resource trading, and small story events. And the most unique feature is the romance system. You're not just managing a city, you're choosing a partner for your ruler, building an alliance, and strengthening your kingdom through relationships. Anno 117 Pax Romana. Feels like a tourist walk through ancient Rome. Narrow streets, bright villas, bustling markets, ports filled with docked ships. The city looks alive and packed with detail. Building is more flexible here. Diagonal roads and better tools for working with terrain and coastlines let you create layouts that aren't just efficient, but genuinely beautiful. You can shape your city to feel natural, with spacious forums, symmetrical landmarks, or cozy districts along hillsides. At its core, it's the classic, almost hypnotic Anno loop, growth through citizens' needs. New social classes demand more complex production chains, starting with basic goods and moving toward luxury items and advanced services. The game also lets you choose your style of provincial control, focus on trade, build diplomatic ties, or take a harsher approach. And that doesn't just show up in menus, it shows on the map in how your region develops. Jurassic World Evolution 3. Here, you're building a park that looks like it came straight out of a blockbuster. Glass walkways, nighttime lit enclosures, and panoramic viewing platforms. And all of it is set against massive dinosaurs that don't feel like simple animations anymore. They move, interact, and react like real living creatures. The biggest visual leap is creature behavior, family groups, babies, and social interactions. The park stops feeling like a display of exhibits and starts to look like an ecosystem. From a management perspective, the game revolves around three things: smart park design, dinosaur well-being, and the entertainment economy. Great tools let you quickly tailor enclosures to specific species and create truly impressive habitats. And in campaigns and scenarios, balance is everything. A stunning park can still be dangerous, and a beautiful zone without solid logistics can bleed money fast. That tension is what makes building here so engaging. Celestial Empire. It's like Anno set in ancient China, but this game has a personality of its own. Rice terraces, dense neighborhoods along the slopes, ornamental gardens, and grand ceremonial architecture make it feel like a city that grows in harmony with nature. The changing seasons play a huge role. Lush summer greens reflected in water contrast sharply with the cold winter palette. The same district can look completely different depending on the time of year, and a good layout starts to feel like a living painting. Gameplay revolves around production chains and long-term stability. You need to organize gathering, storage, and trade so your city can survive winter, fires, and natural disasters. And beyond the economy, morale matters too. Symbolic decisions and the favor of higher powers affect how stable your state really is. One especially cool detail is that you can walk through the city as the ruler. That's rare for the genre. You can literally stroll the streets and even manually speed up production in certain areas. Foundation is a medieval city builder where nothing is locked into a perfect grid. Roads aren't pre-drawn, paths appear where people actually walk. Districts spread naturally across the landscape, shaping themselves around the terrain. The result feels like a settlement that grew over decades, with winding streets, accidental little squares, and dense, lived-in neighborhoods. The standout feature is modular monuments. You don't place a cathedral or a castle with one click, you build it piece by piece. That turns construction into an architectural toolkit. The same city can feel, and monastic, a wealthy trade hub, or almost like a fairy tale kingdom, depending on how you design it. And it's genuinely satisfying to shape neighborhoods around markets, watch the streets fill with people, and slowly expand your monuments as the city develops its own character. Tropico 6 sells beauty through tropical, resort-style chaos. Sunlight sparkles on the ocean, palm trees sway in the wind, bright colonial buildings glow at sunset, and port lights turn the island into a postcard from paradise. You really want to build here, designing waterfronts, palaces, and tourist districts not just for profit, but because it looks amazing. You manage multiple islands, connect them with bridges, and turn separate pieces of land into one capital of your very own banana republic. But under that bright look is a full dictator's theater. Elections, factions, public promises, rewriting the constitution. Politics is baked into the city building. Every district affects public mood. Tourism brings hard currency, industry brings resources, and social programs build loyalty. Kingdoms and castles. This is a blocky city builder that feels like a tabletop miniature brought to life. Neat little houses, tidy farm fields, a castle on a hill, walls and towers. Everything is easy to read and it's just fun to look at. Even a tiny village quickly turns into a charming kingdom you want to expand purely for the view. Behind the simple visuals is a clear, satisfying loop. Resources drive population growth, population generates taxes, happiness keeps everything stable, and that pushes the city forward. It's straightforward, but addictive. You always want to add one more neighborhood, one more stretch of wall, one more district. And it's not purely peaceful. Threats hit your kingdom regularly, Viking raids and dragon attacks. So walls, towers, and smart defenses aren't decoration. They're part of your city plan. A beautiful kingdom still needs to be protected. Pioneers of Pagonia. is a celebration of living simulation. The map is always moving. Tiny settlers carry resources, build structures, lay routes, and create that busy, working anthill feeling. Your city looks like an organism. Everything is in motion, and every piece feels connected. The production chains have to be built so resources flow smoothly, from gathering to warehouses to workshops. Expanding territory feels like an expedition. You push into the unknown, discover new resources, and secure your influence through real infrastructure. And a big bonus here is co-op for up to 4 players. You can build one city together, split responsibilities, and set the pace as a team, which adds a great sense of shared momentum. Farthest Frontier. This is a game about a medieval settlement on the edge of civilization. The seasons change, roads turn to mud after rain, fields are neatly laid out, and dense neighborhoods slowly grow around the marketplace. The town often ends up looking great almost by itself. The farming system is surprisingly deep: crop rotation, soil fertility, smart storage, and processing. It's the foundation of your economy. When the chains run smoothly, you don't just see bigger numbers, you feel the stability of the entire community. At the same time, the game keeps you on your toes. Wildlife, raids, disease, and harsh weather constantly remind you you're living on the frontier. But there's a key detail: flexible difficulty settings. You can soften the threats and turn it into a calmer, almost meditative city-building experience. Town to City is a cozy voxel builder with a 19th century Mediterranean vibe. White facades, warm sunny colors, green courtyards, waterfront promenades, and narrow streets make it feel like a little seaside resort you want to decorate. People come here mainly for the visuals and the calm, satisfying act of creating. The biggest feature is freedom of layout. Neighborhoods easily adapt to the terrain, you can reshape the composition without pain, and the town grows in a natural way. It's a true diorama-style approach, which makes sense because it's made by the studio behind Station to Station, with the same love for that toy-like aesthetic, just on a full city scale. Management stays simple and unobtrusive: population growth, a basic economy, building upgrades, and a few maps. Everything is designed so you spend more time enjoying the view than fighting the UI. The game barely punishes experimentation, so you end up building parks, plazas, and waterfronts simply because they look good. Planet Coaster 2 is the kind of beauty you see in a commercial, except you're the director. Shimmering pools, neon-lit rides at night, crowds of guests, and that real vacation park feeling. Water isn't just decoration here, it's the centerpiece. Water slides, pools, and full leisure zones become their own design category. Rides are built in pieces, paths can be bent and tuned down to the smallest details, terrain editing is smooth, and the scenery tools let you literally sculpt the space. This isn't just a theme park anymore, it's a mini-city built around your imagination. The sequel clearly improved the construction tools. More control over shapes, easier pathing, better theming, and a smoother way to bring the exact park you pictured to life. Anno 1800 isn't just about building a city, it's about creating an industrial panorama. Harbor cranes on the shoreline, smoking factories, dense rows of homes, steamships, and islands packed with activity. The real pleasure comes from production chains and logistics between islands and regions. You're not simply placing a factory, you're building an entire ecosystem: extraction, processing, warehouses, and trade routes. When the supply lines run in sync, it feels like you tuned a massive economic orchestra, and it plays without missing a beat. The game also adds depth through financial competition. You can pressure rivals not only with a fleet, but with money, buy shares, slowly take over their islands, and fight a quiet economic war. But scale comes with complexity. Late game, your empire grows, the number of islands explodes, trade routes multiply, and some players hit heavy micromanagement. For some, that's the ultimate challenge. For others, it's the point where the game starts demanding too much attention. Manor Lords feels like someone brought a medieval village to life and let you run it. The settlement grows with the terrain, fields follow fertility zones, and forests aren't just scenery, they're a critical resource. Seasons change the mood of the whole world, from lush summer greens to harsh winter tones. The most distinctive mechanic is the burgage plots. You shape each homestead yourself, lay out the yard, place the home, the garden, the outbuildings, and then turn those plots into small craft workshops. That's how the streets start to feel real. Dense housing around the market, crafts closer to the center, farming households out on the edges. The town looks organic, not measured out with a ruler. Resources have to be moved, distance matters, and logistics feel physical. Logs roll down roads, warehouses fill up through real flows of goods, not abstract numbers. There are also real-time tactical battles, but those systems feel less polished than the economy. At the same time, the project is actively evolving. Core mechanics are being reworked, trade balance is changing, and building interactions with biomes are being refined. Anno 2205 leans into the beauty of the future. Giant glass and steel megacities, perfectly planned districts, clean highway geometry. It all looks like a showroom for a global corporation. The strongest impression comes from the regional contrasts. Temperate zones with dense futuristic development, harsh Arctic sectors with industrial severity, and lunar craters where settlements sit under domes and glow in the dark. The key feature is the parallel sector structure. It's not one endless map, it's a network of regions you switch between, growing your economy like a system of connected branches. Production chains feel faster and cleaner, and building management is simpler. You can move structures, and the focus is on larger strategic choices. Big multi-stage sector projects push progression forward, pulling resources from different regions and unlocking meaningful bonuses. And expanding to the moon for Helium-3 gives the whole game a real sense of technological momentum. Aven Colony is sci-fi without the extra hype. Sealed domes, soft neon lighting, clean modular buildings, and smooth construction animations make it feel like a real working colony on a distant planet. The beauty here isn't about building a giant metropolis, it's about the atmosphere. You're not just placing structures, you're sustaining life in a strange, dangerous, and fascinating world. At its core, it's a survival city builder set on the planet Aven Prime. You have to maintain oxygen, water, power, food production, housing, and public services. Instead of armies, you rely on smart infrastructure and targeted defenses. And the main enemy is the planet itself. Dust storms, toxic releases, shard storms, and parasitic spores force you to design a city that can handle crises without falling apart. The pacing is also very approachable. The tutorial is gentle, and the systems unfold gradually, keeping the focus on building rather than warfare. For many players, it becomes a calm, almost cozy sci-fi experience, where it's simply satisfying to watch a colony grow beneath those domes. Frozenheim is one of the most cinematic Viking city builders out there. Snowy fjords, cold winds, the glow of the settlement at dusk, and the cycle of day, night, and seasons. Everything works together to create a dense northern atmosphere. Sometimes it's enough to just watch villagers carry supplies between homes and storage buildings, and you instantly feel that harsh, rugged north. Mechanically, it's a hybrid of city building and real-time strategy. You expand production, prepare for winter, stockpile resources, and at the same time take part in tactical clashes. Defense, raids, and pressure on rivals are part of the loop. Your settlement layout directly affects survival. Place warehouses and key resources poorly, and it can cost you, especially once winter arrives and nature starts setting the rules. City-building games today aren't just about management. They're about that moment when the world you created starts living on its own. Eventually, you stop counting resources and just watch the panorama, realizing it's no longer a collection of buildings. It's a real city. That's the feeling we build for. If that kind of magic speaks to you, support the video, and let me know in the comments which game you think is the most beautiful. The Image Game channel was with you. Have a nice day.